Hello, my name is Bridget Detta Portman, and I'm excited to be your instructor for this summer's dramatic writing course. We have a full course of 20 students, and I'm looking forward to getting to know each of you and your writing during this next 3 weeks that we have together. To tell you a little bit about myself, I'm a playwright. I also write some fiction. I have worked with a number of theaters here in the San Francisco Bay Area, including the Pear Theater, which is in Mountain View. And I have had a number of plays produced as well as a few published, most recently, a play of mine called Ageless, which was published just this month. So my primary area of expertise is writing for the stage. However, I have also studied some screenwriting. And what I found is that while playwriting and screenwriting have some important differences, there's also a lot of overlap. And so if you are planning to go into screenwriting, writing for film or television, I think you'll also get a lot out of this course. And on a personal note, I have a dog, as you can probably tell. And I also have two children, a 10-year-old and an almost 5-year-old. You may or may not occasionally hear them in the background in some of my videos. Let's take a look at the syllabus. Here we go. So this is the craft of dramatic writing. My contact information is here. I try to respond to all emails within 24 hours. If you haven't heard back from me in 24 hours, feel free to send a little follow-up. Make sure that it didn't get lost somewhere in the ether. My office hours are going to be Wednesdays from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Pacific time on Zoom, and here is the Zoom link here. Please note that you need to be logged into your Berkeley account in order to access this Zoom. If this time does not work for you, I know we have people who are all over in different time zones this summer. And if 11 a.m. for you is the middle of the night, don't try to join my office hours at 3 in the morning for you. Let me know and we'll arrange another time. All right, I will let you read over this description yourself and the course objectives. Just a reminder that this is an online and asynchronous course, which means that for the most part, we will not be meeting together at a set time. Instead, you will be able to decide when exactly you're going to complete your readings and assignments. So it's nice that there's that flexibility. What that also means, though, is that it's easy to, if you're not careful, let your assignments pile up until suddenly it's the end of the week and you realize that you haven't done anything. Please don't do that. I would highly recommend to pace yourself. So if you know that you have to read a certain amount of time in the week, divide it up. Decide what are you going to do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, etc., so that you can stay on track. During week 3, we will have small groups that will meet together on Zoom to workshop our writing. And you'll have some flexibility over the time that you choose. So there are 2 texts that I am requiring for this course. The first is The Architecture of Story by Will Dunn. And this is kind of a nice guide to dramatic writing. We won't be reading it cover to cover. I'll be assigning certain chapters and sections of it. What I like about this book is that it uses examples from 3 fairly well-known plays. I learn best with examples. So it will explain a principle, maybe character arc or inciting incident, and then it will go through examples from each of those plays that demonstrates that principle. There are also a lot of interesting questions to ask yourself about your own writing at the end of each part of this. Then we will also be reading a full-length play, Cost of Living by Martina Mayock. And I chose this play for a couple of reasons. First, it's a good play. It won the Pulitzer Prize for Drama in 2018. It's a play that portrays disabled characters in a way that is fully dimensional and complex and realistic. And that is something that we don't always see on stage. So I appreciate that about this. And then also it has kind of a unique and interesting structure in that it is these two parallel stories. And we'll talk more about that when we talk about plot and structure. So those are the books. You can use digital versions, Kindle versions, if you want to. Just make sure that you have those both because we are starting with them right away. And then we'll have some additional readings, including short plays, excerpts from scripts for the stage and for screen. And those will be linked to on our class's bCourses site. Here is the breakdown for assignments and grading. A large chunk of your grade, as you can see, will be this short play or film script. So what is this? You're going to write a 7 to 10 page short script. This could be a complete 10-minute play or 10-minute film, or it could be an excerpt from something longer, either a longer play, a film, a TV episode, whatever you want, but it should be self-contained, meaning it should have a beginning, middle, and end, and some sort of resolution in the end. At least 2 characters. Those characters should have objectives. There should be conflict. And we'll talk about more detailed guidelines for that as we get closer. But this is, in general, what you'll need to do for that assignment. 30% is weekly writing exercises. So week 1 and week 2, you will have some writing exercises to complete and turn in. You will also then choose one of those writing exercises to share each week on our discussion board. And you will post a response as well to another student, at least one other student's post. This is the interactive element of this course. It's difficult with an asynchronous course to get a lot of interaction, but this, along with our peer workshop, will be how you can interact with each other as students. Quizzes. Each lecture has an associated short quiz. You'll see there's one for this introductory lecture too. And this is to check your understanding of the material. There will be multiple choice, fill in the blank, short answer. These will be graded, but the good news is there's no time limit. So if you find that you don't know the answer to a quiz question, just stop, go back to the video, and give yourself time to find it. As long as you're careful, there's no reason that you shouldn't get full points on these quizzes. All right, and then I mentioned peer workshop earlier. Workshopping is a very valuable part of dramatic writing, whether you are writing for the stage or the screen. And so, as I mentioned, we'll be reading our rough drafts of our short scenes on Zoom. We'll be in small groups of myself and 5 students. So there will be, and we'll meet for about an hour and a half. So there will be time to discuss each student's work. We will divide up the roles and read them aloud, which is a lot of fun. And we'll go over some other principles of how to conduct these workshops as we get a little closer. Now, we only have 3 weeks together, not a very long time. And because of that, late work is very disruptive. So my policy on late work is, unless it's an emergency, I don't accept it. If you don't have something done by the time that it's due, turn in what you have. I always give partial credit. Partial is better than none. If something does happen that is completely outside of your control, a medical emergency, a family emergency, something like that, you need to reach out to me in advance of the due date. Let me know what's going on, and I'm happy to work with you. Plagiarism. You can read the university's policy on plagiarism here. In short, don't do it. You'll notice that one of the elements on here is AI, ChatGPT, which of course is a very interesting tool. which, it's fun in some ways to play around with it. But what you want to avoid is using it to write your scenes for you or to complete your writing exercises for you. ChatGPT is not very creative. You're going to do a lot better if you rely on yourself and your own ideas and your own creativity. So please do not use it. Disability accommodations. If you get me a letter from the Disabled Students Program, I am happy to work with you here. You can read our policy on harassment and discrimination. Please treat each other with respect. Content warnings, I will let you know beforehand if there are significant content issues with any of the readings. In general, keep in mind that what others write may potentially include subject matter that is emotionally difficult for you. If you are writing something that contains subject matter that you think others might find emotionally difficult, you might just say so, add a little note at the top or say so before our peer workshop. I want this to be a group where we feel free to explore emotionally difficult material, but also feel supported and safe. And if you have any concerns there, please reach out. Here are some additional resources in case you need anything here. And then here is the schedule. You will see that for each week, and we'll go into B courses, and I'll show you how to access the modules. Each week will be a module. There will be something for you to watch. There will be reading assignments, and there will be writing assignments. So for week 1, you will watch this Welcome to the Course video along with 3 other videos. You will read from the Architecture of Story, Chapter 1, as well as some excerpts from a later chapter. You will read about half of the Cost of Living. So that's the prologue and scenes 1 to 3. And then there are a couple of shorter readings that I have. You will also do 3 of 5 writing exercise prompts that I have. And you'll do your 1 discussion board post and response. Also, that 1 post and response is minimum. Feel free to do more. Feel free to respond to more than 1 person's post. Or maybe you feel like posting more than 1 of your writing exercises. Feel free to do so. And then this will be for the next week. And then for week 3, which is our workshopping week. Let's take a look at what our B Courses site looks like. Now, the one that I'm showing you here is actually from last summer. So yours is going to look slightly different, but everything's going to be in the same place. So if I go down here to modules, it's going to take me to the week 1 module. And you will be able to access, here's week 1 lectures and quizzes, right? Each of these lectures has an associated quiz. If you have any trouble accessing the YouTube videos, let me know. Week 1 readings, you can click on any handouts. There will be a page for. And here is week 1 writing exercises. Again, you'll be able to choose 3 of 5 each week. And here is the sharing board. And then we also have an extra discussion board this first week that is for you to introduce yourselves. So that's it for our introduction. If you have any questions, please reach out to me via email, and I'll see you in the next video.